Devin Haney says in 2022, he's going for undisputed in the lightweight division. We're going to talk about that in this video. Stay tuned. Yo, what up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you guys put a thumb up on the video. It takes a few seconds of your time. Let's start off this year, 2022, in the right fashion. Throw a like on the video and subscribe. Now, Devin Haney, he's gunning for the belts. I don't know how easy or hard it will be for him to achieve this goal, but that's what he says he's going after. He's been very adamant about that. And he even took to his social media and he says, 2022, I will collect the remaining. So he's obviously referring to the remaining belts, the remaining titles. He's the WBC title holder. Although I have to admit the WBC has not done a good job of showing respect to Devin Haney and making it look like the title or the version of the title he has is worth a damn. But that's another story. George Kambosos says, you and your team know exactly how to make it happen. Maybe sell some of your jewelry to help out with that. You don't have to go to Jupiter, brother. Just 8,000 plus miles across the Pacific down under. So Kambosos is adamant that he gets to hold home court for beating Teofimo. And Devin Haney said, yeah. We all know you want a bidding war, but you know who's really putting up the money. You said I would be next, so keep that same energy, says Devin Haney. All right. And Kambosos, he really did like a poll and he got 45,000 people to vote. So that's good. I don't know what the actual end result is, but he said, Haney, Lomachenko, Tank, or Garcia, who do you want to see me fight? Right? It says Haney, Lomachenko, Tank, Garcia, who's next? I want them all. In Australia, who do the fans want to see me defend my crown against in 2022? And to that, Devin Haney says, I will highlight it in pink, pretty in pink. You got the right one first. As you see, he put his name, Haney, first. He says, you got the right one first. Don't even know why you're still questioning it. So at the end of the day, we'll get to see, if Devin Haney ends up winning the golden ticket to the Kambosos sweepstakes. Kambosos is very adamant that he's the A side and he's in the leverage position. So we'll see how it plays out. I do think Devin Haney has been mistreated. And it's unfortunate in the world of boxing. You hate to see it because Devin Haney is the model citizen, the model fighter in terms of his hunger, his willingness. He really, truly wants to prove that he's the best. He really, truly thinks that he can beat all the other contemporaries, and people want to play this game. And it's very sad in the world of boxing that this is what it's come to. The politics game, the who you know game. And this has been the case for Devin Haney from the beginning. Devin Haney, he signed with Eddie Hearn. He was supposed to fight Luke Campbell for a title. Top rank Lomachenko crept in and took that opportunity for a unification for Lomachenko. Fast forward to the future, Lomachenko became a franchise champion to not fight Devin Haney. Lost his title to Teofimo, and then Teofimo ended up losing his title in his very first title defense, refused to give Lomachenko a rematch. Teo says, I've been there, I've done that. There's no reason for me to fight Lomachenko anymore. I already beat him, and he wouldn't have gave me a rematch. And fast forward to the future, Kambosos upsets Teofimo. So Devin Haney continues to be the odd man out in a lot of these equations. Now, I'm showing you guys Ring TV. They did updated lightweight ranking. They have Kambosos rated number 1 because he has the Ring Magazine belt and he unified the titles in beating Teofimo. Even though Teofimo's coming directly off a loss where he was battered and he clearly lost, they have him ranked number 1 before Lomachenko and Devin Haney. And again, this is what's sad about boxing. It's sad that in boxing, you have rankings such as this and you know the games that go on. And I'm really not gonna go into every elusive detail, but you know the politics. Devin Haney tried to fight the guy who's ranked number 2, Lomachenko. As I mentioned, Lomachenko's team refused to do that and go that route, requested that Lomachenko become the franchise champion, which has been confirmed by the WBC. You know what? Matter of fact, roll the clip.
The other one, lightweight. As I explained it yesterday, it was very complicated 3 years ago. Mikey Garcia keeping the title frozen for a year when he moved up. We ordered several series of fights. Some dropped, some didn't happen, some did happen.
And it's funny that Mauricio Suleiman, this is the WBC president Suleiman talking right now, and he says lightweight was so confusing a few years ago because Mikey Garcia moved up to 140 and pursued other fights at 147 eventually with Errol Spence. So he said the lightweight division was confusing, but in all actuality, it's worse than it's ever been in terms of confusion, because at one time they had Devin Haney, Teofimo, and Ryan Garcia, all WBC champions. Then they had Lomachenko as the franchise champion. People are confused as to who's undisputed and what belt does Devin Haney have. If you're trying to say Kambosos, previous to that Teofimo, previous to that Lomachenko, if you're saying they're undisputed, then what significance is Devin Haney's belt? And it's just funny to hear Suleiman say that years ago and make it look like they've made progress in lessening people's concerns or bringing clarity to the division, and they really haven't. But I'll continue.
We ordered several series of fights. Some dropped, some didn't happen, some did happen. We ended with an interim championship. Then Lomachenko requests to fight for the vacant title, which is a great...
He requests to fight for the vacant title, which I just said. Lomachenko and his team requested and took that from Devin Haney because he was next in line per rankings. Devin Haney would have got Luke Campbell if Lomachenko's team didn't request that they get Luke Campbell. And they picked it because they knew it was a fight where Lomachenko would be a heavy favorite, and that's what happened.
A great honor. We granted that. He defeated Campbell. Then he requested to be franchise in order to go in and to unify the division.
He requested to be the franchise champion in order to unify the division. Now, keep in mind, Suleiman is saying he requested it. Lomachenko said this.
На конгресс WBC, и там тебе присвоили звание франчайзингового чемпиона. Это что для тебя вообще?
Я, кстати, вот хорошо, что вы задали этот вопрос, потому как я вот читал недавно интервью.
And in this interview, he said, to be honest, when I read Suleiman's interview, basically he's saying, I would like to make it clear, I did not petition to become the franchise champion. And I got a separate video. You can see the subtitles at the bottom. He says, I was awarded this title. My team never requested it. Says the president, Suleiman, and the whole committee, that's just something they decided. So nobody, keep this in mind, because this is important. Nobody wants to take blame for how or why Lomachenko became the franchise champion. So you mean to tell me we have a brand new franchise champion that everyone hated it when Canelo became the franchise champion and didn't fight a black fighter, Jamal Charlo, and then people hated it when Lomachenko became franchise champion and didn't fight a black fighter, Devin Haney, and you mean to tell me both sides of the coin is either heads or tails? Either the WBC and their side initiated this process, or Lomachenko and Top Rank and their side initiated the process, and they're both denying it. But I did a separate video because I want to stay focused here. Make sure you guys subscribe for the latest and greatest. Check out some of these other videos.
Honor, we granted that. He defeated Campbell. Then he requested to be franchised in order to go in and to unify the division. We accepted that. He fought Lopez, and Lopez requested to be franchised if he defeated Lomachenko. That's the
So he blamed Teofimo Lopez for requesting the franchise if he beat Lomachenko too. And then listen how he treats Devin Haney. This is the WBC president speaking.
first change in the rule that we had. We
First
adjusted
change.
where the designation can be exchanged in a high-profile fight, as it was that fight and as it was with the Kambosos. What happened with the franchise in the lightweights? You can look at it today. It gave us 7 fights or the greatest level.
And again, just so you guys can keep up, Suleiman is saying we adjusted and made the first change of the rule, because when Canelo ducked the Charlo fight and became the franchise champion, they said it's non-transferable. So that deaded all conversations, because even if Jermall Charlo were to have fought Canelo at the time, everybody was under the impression, per the WBC's press release, that the franchise champion is basically witness protection and you can't touch them, you can't bother them, that by being this, it's non-transferable even if you beat him. So that got the monkey off of Canelo's back, and he didn't have to fight Charlo. And then later on, after they granted Lomachenko the witness protection franchise champion belt to avoid Devin Haney, another undefeated black fighter, right? Just like Jermall Charlo, and they're still undefeated. Then they switched the rules when Loma was about to fight against Teofimo and said, hey, guess what? If Teofimo beats Loma, he can win the belt. That's a change to the rule, and this is what Suleiman is admitting.
As it was that fight and as it can be, we adjusted where the designation can be exchanged in a high-profile fight, as it was that fight and as it was with the Kambosos.
So we adjusted, huh? So he's telling you
To be franchised if he defeated Lomachenko. We accepted that. He fought Lopez, and Lopez requested to be franchised if he defeated Lomachenko. That's the first change in the rule that we had. We adjusted where the designation can be exchanged in a high-profile fight, as it was that fight and as.
Now, this is another reason that's funny that Mauricio Suleiman is acting like he's alleviated confusion as opposed to causing it with the franchise champion status or designation or belt system that they integrated. And he's making it sound like boxing fans and boxing media are off their rocker and making it sound like, oh, people just hate change. No, it's not that people hate change. I mean, people sometimes hate change, but they hate this change because it makes no sense. And it screws over certain fighters like Devin Haney and Jermall Charlo. So Devin Haney has to go continue his career being called names and denigrated and called a fake champ and an email champion and a pride champion and things like that, because he's not getting these opportunities based on politics. So yeah, of course people are gonna hate this. But to continue, if you listen to what he just said that this designation, we switched our own rules and said in a high profile fight such as Lomachenko versus Teofimo, it can be transferable. But here's the thing. So basically the WBC are telling you that they have full veto power and they can do whatever they want with their belt, because high profile fight, that's subjective, just like a pound for pound list. There's no, who's to say that Lomachenko and Teofimo was high profile fight, right? That's a subjective statement, because if it was so high profile fight, when I think of high profile fight, I'm thinking about Mayweather fights, Mayweather Pacquiao, stuff like that. And if that's the case, since we're using subjective terminology, if Teofimo Lopez and Vasyl Lomachenko was such a high profile fight, then why wasn't it on pay-per-view? Typically, high profile fight with superstars you would see on pay-per-view, and ESPN, owned by Disney, chose to not put that fight on pay-per-view even at the bequest of Bob Arum, who wanted it on pay-per-view. So who's to say what's high profile? The WBC themselves, again, now you guys get to see the politics. The WBC, they said it's a high profile fight. There's no numbers to support that. It didn't actually do that far off from what Terrence Crawford and Kell Brook did on ESPN. And that Lomachenko fight had way better flyers and promotion for it. Checkmate.
It was with the Kambosos. What happened with the franchise in the lightweights? You can look at it today. It gave us 8-7 fights of the greatest level, and it will continue to give many good fights. I am sorry for the confusion that fans may have. I'm sorry for the confusion media may have. I'm sorry for those who run the statistics like maniacs and say, oh my God, what is this? If you look at all record books, you will always see asterisks in some pages. I stay with the activity in the ring, with the great opportunities to many fighters, and I stand proud. It is not something that is going to happen in every weight category. It's not that. It is not that. So I feel confident and I feel at ease. And
here's the thing. He just said it's not something that's going to happen in every weight class. If what you were introducing was so great and people are just weirded out because it's new and it's changed and they're just resistant to change, then why don't you bring it to every weight class? Because you know it's garbage.
Accept every comment, every request. I will accept it and try to get us for the best. Dillian, is that all, Danny?
Just a very quick follow-up. We regard George Kambosos as truly undisputed, as Devin Haney has the WBC lightweight title.
Yes, Devin Haney is the WBC lightweight title. He's a pride WBC champion.
Pride.
He has grown into being a tremendous champion. He defeated Gamboa, defeated Linares.
So he's just going over Devin Haney's fights, which we already knew we already know who Devin Haney fought. So we'll see how it all plays out. But I had certain people responding to my video about how Devin Haney is ranked number 3 and is saying the other guys fought better competition. But it's easier to fight. Is it not easier to fight better competition when all the other guys are willing to fight each other and the politics that be, including the WBC, are making and allowing for these fights to happen? Devin Haney, everybody on this top row, Devin Haney has vehemently and adamantly said he wants to fight, period. George Kambosos, he got the titles beating Teofimo. Devin Haney, I just showed you his tweets. Devin Haney already said, and his promoter, Eddie Hearn, that Devin Haney's willing to fly over to Australia to make that shake. Devin Haney, he called out Teofimo and confronted him in Fresno at the Mikey Garcia versus Sandal fight. This is all documented. I've made videos. There's archive footage on YouTube. Rematch Room has footage of the confrontation. Devin Haney has vehemently stated he wants to fight Teofimo Lopez. Lopez lied and says we're sending a contract to Devin and sending a contract to Kambosos, which I also have on tape and made videos about, and that never happened. Lomachenko, come on. He became a franchise champion as to not have to fight Devin Haney. So I can't wait to see how this plays out. And hopefully, just hopefully, the right decision is made. Devin Haney and George Kambosos, or at the very least, Kambosos versus Gervonta Davis. Those are my top 2 picks for who Kambosos should fight. Devin says he's gunning for undisputed. And with all the politics, that would be a great fight because it would finally put a rest to who's the man with all the belts and the true undisputed at lightweight. We unpacked. We unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live, Boxing Ego Unpacked. Yeah. We unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live. The future is now. The Hibernation 5s by Kenichi Bear. hybrid gaming and lifestyle headphones. Out of the box, you can connect to any console or PC, Bluetooth ready, with a low latency USB adapter, color RGB, and extreme bass mode. The Hibernation 5s adjust to you. Whether you need a gaming, travel, gym, or lifestyle headphones, the Hibernations got you covered. The new Hibernation 5s, link in the description. Customize the way you hear the world. Welcome to the nation. Are you tired of your YouTube videos not getting any views? Well, consider TubeBuddy. I've used TubeBuddy for years to scale up my YouTube channel. Now we're sitting over 200,000 subscribers. TubeBuddy is a browser extension that offers a ton of built-in productivity and time-saving services to take your channel to the next level. Use my link in the description to get started with TubeBuddy and level up your channel faster.